Everyone, it's Peter. Welcome you back. This class we continue to talk about the collection API. So today we will go through about the iterator and how to go through a map and some collections API and then Lambda function and stream. So before that, before we introduce the iterator, we first introduce Lambda and we will compare back with iterator. What is Lambda function? Lambda function is for functional interface. The functional interface means an interface with exactly one method. We know we can define an interface. You can define many methods inside, but if this interface has only one method, then we can use a Lambda function. So I give you an example. An example is the interface of comparator. So last time we used comparator to compare a list of items. So let's go back to this comparison test. Okay. So this is test comparator. We write an item comparator, right? So to implement comparator, that's one way. The second way, I use this one is new comparator. This is anonymous inner class. Okay. So here I use by anonymous. I think there's no E, and there's a typo. Anonymous inner class. Now I want to write another test. Test comparator by Lambda function. What is Lambda function? So I copy the code here. And then in this part, I just use A, B with this dash and greater than angle. This is arrow and A dot compare to B. That's it. This is Lambda function. Okay. So this makes things very simple. This AB and A dot compared to B is exactly this one. So this is a comparator. Comparator, there's one method compare. Compare has two input variables A and B. And then it returns A dot, no, not A dot compared to B, it's A dot get the name, sorry. Return this one. Okay. I need to return this one. This is Lambda function. I write here. So I simplified all, like add overload the method name and override this annotation, everything, and even the new keyword. I just use this arrow with this is parameter. If this function has no parameter, then there's no parameter. I just use parentheses, left parenthesis and right parenthesis. If there's some parameter, then I move to this one, and I just, if there's a return, then I have a return. If there's no return, I just write some code inside. So usually Lambda function is used for very simple code, So like this. I can use Lambda function. Okay, this is called Lambda function. So let's run it. Yeah, then it works. So at the beginning, if you first learn Lambda function, you need to do lots of hands-on practice. Otherwise, it's hard to control, grasp this Lambda function. This Lambda function was introduced in Java 8. I think it's Java 8, it's not in Java 7. That's a very big feature in Java 8. And based on Lambda function, we have lots of other things in the collection which use Lambda function. Now, next we talk about the going through, like let's say we have Lambda and the stream test. Okay. So we will talk about how to go through a list, how to go through a set, and how to go through a map. And in this go through code, so we will introduce the Lambda, introduce the a stream. Okay. Now, first let's say let's create a list of let's say list of integer. Okay, list set of string. This is a set. Then we have a map. Map is a string and the integer pairs. This is a map. Okay, and let's import java.util.star. Now at before each, okay, for the setup. Okay. Why is no suggestion in this test? Here there's a before each. Okay. No. We create 3 methods. Init list. Okay. New array list. List.add 10. Add 20. List.add 30. So I keep the it's not sorted. Just I keep this order, or maybe I change some order. Okay. Maybe I will do the sort later on. Okay. Let's see. 5. Okay. Now void init set. Okay, set new. Let's use hash set. Set add x, add a, add c. Okay. Then I need a map. Map equal to new. Let's use hash map. This is string integer. Okay. So map.put. Let's say a 20. Map.put. Let's say x 10. Map.put b 5. So we will write lots of code here. Let's start with the init list. Init set, init map. Okay. Now the first test, I want to test the how to go through list or set, list and set. So the regular way I just write here. So for the list, you can use a for loop int I equal to 0, I less than list.size, I plus plus. This is the regular way. Okay. Now we can print out list.getI. Right? This is for the list, regular way. I will remove the code. I just show you. This is a very simple way. For the set, you don't have a get method. So for the set, you can use string. Use this way set. Then you print out the set. Print out this one. This is like iterator. In the list, you can also use the same way. You can use the same way to go through the list. Right? If you go to the list, they are the same way. So then this is integer. Okay. So you can run it. What's wrong with this one? Oh, yeah. So this is the basic way. Okay. So this is the first, the traditional way. This is in the for loop, and this is this way. Okay. Now I remove this one. I think this one I don't have to keep the code. If you want to keep, you can keep by yourself. Now I test for each. Like you can use list dot for each x x. In the for each, there's a lambda function. That is, for each there's an interface. It only has one method. The method is the variable is the input, and then I have a method. The method returns void. Okay, and then for the set, you can also have for each. Then string. So the variable name, it doesn't matter. You can use any name. STL. Okay, so let's first test about the for each. Okay. So this is a simple way. It's much better. And we can also use for each for the map. Now, how to go through the traditional map? There are two ways for this map. Go through map. So the first way is we can get a key set. This is a key set. The map dot key set. Now you can say the keys. Go through the keys. Then print out a key. The value is use the map dot get key. That's the one way to do that. Okay. Maybe I put this one in the map. And write another test. Test map. Yeah, use this way in the map. So it's A, B, X. We know the map doesn't keep the insertion order. This is a hash map because all the keys is a hash set. So when we insert the map as AXB and the output is ABX. Okay. So then this is a map. That's one way. The second way is go through map. The second way is I can have an entry set called map dot entry set entry. In the entry is the same type, string and integer. This is called entry set. Map dot entry set. Then for loop. Then this is map dot entry. So this is entry in the entry set. What's the problem? Oh, this is a set of map.entry set. Okay, so this is a generic inside a generic. Okay, then this works. So this is the element is a map.entry, and this is set. This entry is the static inner class. Okay, then we can print out key is entry dot get key. Then entry dot get value. Okay, it's the same. Now let's compare the two differences. So go through map by key set. The second one is go through the map by entry set. By entry set. I just give the two code here. I will keep the code here. And this is for entry. So the difference is In the key set, after you get the key set, you still need this map to get the value, map to get the key to get the value. But if you use the entry set, then the map is totally converted to a set. So in the for loop, it has no relation with the set, with the map anymore. Yeah. And then the third one, we use for each. Go through the map by for each. Yeah. We can say map dot for each. Yeah. Then we can kv. Usually you can see key value, so I just say kv. K plus v. Okay. That's the simplest one. Use for each. This inside is a lambda function. So inside this for each for the map, and this is a functional interface. The method name I don't care, but the method input is key and value, and you print key value pairs. So let's test this map. Okay, it's the same. Okay, the three parts. So if you want to print something as a divider, that's fine. It's up to you. So this is the way to go through a map. Now, next we talk about the iterator. Iterator is another way to do that. The test iterator. Okay. Iterator is like actually in this in the for loop of list, like for integer x list. Actually, this is an iterator, but we can use another way, which is similar to this for loop. We can say iterator, iterator with the integer, it equals to list dot iterator. Okay. Then while it dot has next, then integer value x equal to it dot next, then print out x. Okay. You can do the same thing for set, but not for map. Not for map. So this means what the iterator has three methods. It has next, next, and remove. But now we don't use remove. Remove is a writing process. So has next and next. If it has next, then we go through next one by one. Okay. No. See, is this. I don't want to go through the code for set. You can make up the code for set. So in the current project, because we have for each, which is very powerful, now we don't use iterator a lot. Most of the time we use this for each, and then we use this kind of for loop, right? For loop of this. It's like iterator or use for each. We rarely use iterator. And a typical question, maybe a long time ago, people may ask about the difference between iterator and enumeration. That's very legacy API. Enumeration has only two methods, has more elements and the next element, something like that. I cannot remember exactly. You can check the API for enumeration. Enumeration is purely read-only. It only has next element method or next element. It can only read the element, but iterator has one more method called remove. It can remove an element. It has a writing process. But in the current industry, I don't think they use a lot for iterator or enumeration, because we have more powerful feature in the Lambda function. Now, next I will talk about the stream. Okay. Now, test. Let me test about stream. Test this one. Okay, let's do something else. Okay, I want to convert. Let's say. Okay. Test stream. Okay. Then I need to create a list of items. private list of item. So then, based on the list of items, I can give a explanation of string. So init items. So list of item list. Let's say items equals to new array list. Which kind of the kind of collection doesn't matter. You can use anyone. I just use a more complex object, not like string or integer, those simple things. So items dot add new item. The constructor of item is ID, price, and name. ID is 1, price is 56, name is a book. Let's see. ID, price, name. ID, price, name. Okay. Now 2, 25. Let's say CD. 3. I think 3 should be enough to understand the stream. 16 is a toy. Okay. Now the first thing is I want to I first get a list of items. Items, go to init items. Now the first thing I use stream to get all item names. I only need item names. Okay, I don't need its price. I don't need its ID. So we can then it's get a string, a list of string. Okay, item names. How to do that? A traditional way is that I first create an array list. Then I go through the items, right? I go through the items like items. Then I use item number, item names dot add item dot get name. So this is the traditional way. But I don't want to use this way. I use a more efficient way. Use stream. So I can say I will do the items dot stream. That's the method. Then map. I map each item from this is item, double column get name. Get name. Then dot collect. Collectors dot to list. That's it. One line. So then we can have item names. I can have string name, item names, print out name. Okay. So this is the using stream. In stream, if you want to go through a list of objects and want to retrieve something inside this object, and then you can use stream. And in one line, it can finish all the things. They all use the sometimes it's lambda function, sometimes it's like this one, item column get name. Okay. No, let's run it. Say book CD toy. Okay. Now, next I want to convert items to a map. The map is the item name maps to a price. Okay. Now I can have map string integer item map. Let's see, equal to items dot stream. Okay. Stream dot let's say collect. You don't map anything clusters to map. To map there are two things. One is item get name. The second thing is item get price. And that's it. If you want, if it's too long, you can change the line. So by this map, so you can get, let's say assertion. I don't print out assert equals 3. That's the map size. Sorry, item map. Then assert equals, let's say the price, the book price is 56. Item map dot get book. So others you can make up others. So I just give one example. So then it will work. Okay. So this one I don't print it out. I just use assertion. So then it becomes name maps to the price. Name maps to price. Or you can map from ID to the price. Or you can even do this. Make the ID maps to an item. Okay. So convert items to a map. This map is a string and integer, and this map is another one, is integer because it's ID, then it's item. Okay. The map integer item. So item map. I just say another map. I just say ID to item equals to items dot stream dot collect characters dot to map. So the ID is item get ID. Value is a trouble. Value is item itself. So how do we do that? Then this map to this. Let's say don't say this is item maps to item. Should be this. Okay, now let's change the line. So here I use Lambda function. So the key, the first one is a key. The second one is a value. Value is an item. Maybe I can use the ID map to something else. That's a different story. But if I just map to another big object, then call item, then I just say item. Now, again, assertion dot assert equals 3 ID to item dot size. Okay. Then I get the item equals to ID to item dot get 1. ID is 1, then assertion dot assert equals maybe I change another one. So ID is 2. Let's say 2. Here is 2. Then 25. This item price. And the name is CD. It is get name. Okay. So that's another one. And we can also say if there's some null value inside the items, I can also use the filter. Okay. So let me add one. Items dot add null. Null is not a good value, right? But the item size is 4. I can still add null here. But in this code, we may have trouble because it has null. Right? So it's a null point exception. How do we do that? So we can use a filter. Like first, you can use filter objects non-null. Objects is also in the not object, objects. Objects is an API in Java. It just filter out the non-null value. So every time I call this non-null value, the second one is the same. The third one is the same. So I can filter out object non-null. If it's not object non-null, you can write your own customized function and with the Lambda function, okay? Like something like dot filter some item, use this one to go to some function. You can also try this, okay? But now we have object non-null is good, so I remove this one, and then you can run the code again. Okay. And you can also have another filter. For example, if I go to a list of names, I want the ID is greater than 1. I will filter out 1. Okay. So I can got another filter. Let's say this is let's say string of items, then item dot get ID greater than 1. This is another filter. This is customized filter, so I don't have to write a comment here. So this means that I only filter out items that is ID greater than 1. So I only have 2 elements. Okay. So CD toy, right? The ID equals to 1 is filtered out. So you can do any kind of filter or multiple filters one by one. So it means that you can get whatever you want. If you have a collection of lots of objects, then you can filter out something, you can customize something, you can get some information inside. You don't have to get all the items. So you may be only interested in some field or some values under some conditions. So your stream is a very powerful tool. So you don't have to use another collection or use a for loop to go through one by one and then apply your condition and get your result. You can use a stream with a filter, with a map, with collect to collect whatever you like. You can collect as a list, you can collect as a set, you can collect as a map. It's all you want. So this is stream. Stream is also, you still need lots of time to get practice, to get familiar with the stream. Stream is a very good usage of the Lambda function, and it's also a new feature in Java 8. Okay, this is stream. Hopefully, based on this example, you can get familiar with Lambda function and stream. Okay, and then we already introduced how to go through a map and iterate on the enumeration. Now the last thing is about the collections class. So we Google it, we get collections Java. Okay. So here I have 2 questions. How to make a collection thread safe? Then there's a method called synchronize, like this. See here, there are lists of synchronized methods. You can synchronize the collection, synchronize the list. It will return a synchronized list, which is thread safe. It will like synchronized map. It will return a synchronized map, which is thread safe. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Another group is unmodifiable. Unmodifiable means that this collection is read-only. You cannot modify its value. You cannot add. Okay. So let's make an example for collections API. Now, in this collection, let's new class collections test. Not collections test. Okay. Again, I import java.util.star. Then let's make a test. Test unmodifiable since. Okay. Now let's say list of string. This is a list. Now list dot add A, list dot add B. That's fine. Now I get another list. Is read-only list. We can use collections dot modifiable list. I can move this list in. For each collection, like map, set, collection, list, they can all have a modifiable corresponding modifiable method. Now, after that, so first we can add it list. The list can add C. There's no problem. But the read-only list, if you add D, then that's a problem. So this has a problem. Now let's run it. So you can see this happens on this line. So it's unsupported operation exception. So for list is modifiable. So list can add anything, right? But the read-only list you cannot use add. So here I can use a Lambda function to assert throws. Assert throw is called unsupported operation exception dot class. Then the next one is I use Lambda function here. Read-only list at D. So it means this is the second parameter is a Lambda function. So there's no parameter. If I run read-only list dot add D, it will throw this exception. I use assert throws. That's it. And the list is fine. Assert equals 3 list dot size. Okay. So I leave this example to help you understand assert throws. Assert throws, the first one is the expected exception you want to throw, and the second one is a Lambda function that you run some code. This code will throw the first parameter's exception. Now, let's run it. Yeah, then it becomes green. Okay, so here we answer two questions about how to make a collection thread safe. There is a synchronized something, and how to make a read-only collection. We have a modifiable something. So collection includes collection, list, set, map, those things. And the shuffle in the basic Java training, I already use the shuffle in the code to randomize to shuffle a collection. So if collection is sorted, if I shuffle it, I will make it random in a random order. So the method is collection.shuffle. Let me see. I think in the test, in the lab, in the test, the sort, like a method test. So here we can build a random array. You can see this array is a list of integers. This array at the beginning I use for loop. This is a good size. It is sorted from 1 to the size. And then I use shuffle. It becomes a random array. Then I use this one to help you to test your sorting algorithms. Now, today we will continue our lab in the collections. So I write lots of things. There's a stream test. So here you can follow my code to run those code to use stream. Okay. And then we have map test and sort. There's an important question is how to sort a map by value. So you have a map with string integer, right? So usually, if the map is sorted by string, now you want to sort by the integer. How to do that? Okay. So this is your code. So here is a this is a test. I think map test in the collection. Okay. Yes. Then you need to print out this one. This is a test. Say, suppose I have A 100, B 20, C 80. If you print out it's A 100, B 20, and C 80. But if you sort it by value, it will print out. If you convert to string, it's this one. After you sort map by value, call this method, it will be B20 because 20 is the smallest one, then C80, then A100. How to do that? I give you a hint, that is, you can convert a map to a set or to an entry set, and then convert the set of entry to a list, and then you use comparator to sort it. Typical mistake is that some people want to make change from key value to value key. So they change value to the key, change key to the value. That's not a feasible solution because some values could be the same. If I have another put D, we say another 80, then you will have trouble because you will miss one record. So you cannot change value to a key. So you need to convert the map to an entry set and convert the set into a list. And after that, you can use comparator to sort the map in a sort the map by its value, not by the key. So for some other questions, you can go through the test set and you can finish corresponding code. So this is still in the lab 4. Last time I assigned you about the lab 4, and this one is a makeup of the lab 4. That's all for collection API. Thank you.